happened in Gaza over the past 9 months is devastating. The images of dead children and desperate, hungry people fleeing for safety, sometimes displaced for the second, third, or fourth time. We cannot look away in the face of these tragedies. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to the suffering, and I will not be silent.
We get more analysis now with Hatem Bazian, a professor of Middle Eastern cultures and languages at the University of California, Berkeley. He's speaking to us from London. Hatem, welcome to this news hour. Harris's remarks were an improvement from what we've heard in the past, but are they really going to be enough to drastically move the needle and change anything on the ground?
Thank you for having me. I do think that all politics is local. And Vice President Kamala Harris is coming into an election cycle where 71% of the Democratic base is calling for a ceasefire. A large segment of that 71% is also calling for taking Israel to task and possibly cutting and stopping U.S. aid to Israel, including military support. So what my view is that Kamala Harris is attempting to navigate a public relation posture for election purposes while maintaining the Biden administration's policy toward continued support and defense of Israel. I don't expect, as of today, that Kamala Harris will stop or limit U.S. military aid. I think Kamala Harris will still commit the United States to defending Israel in the United Nations and also against the International Court of Justice. So I would say that what we're seeing is the navigation of a public relations campaign for electoral purposes while maintaining the solid policy on fundamental U.S. support for Israel. Whether that's going to be maintained moving forward all depends on what takes place across the United States and also what Israel will do in Gaza as well as Lebanon.
Do you think that the continued calls from the United States that we have now seen, it's not just from Kamala Harris, it's from Joe Biden as well, these continued calls for a ceasefire are actually going to pile more pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu as he heads back to Israel, especially with the war in Gaza becoming more deadly, obviously for Gazans, but Israel also losing more soldiers?
Well, I think if Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, and as well Democrats currently in Congress wants to stop and bring a ceasefire, they could do it immediately by saying, if there isn't ceasefire, we're not going to continue shipping the military supplies, the ammunition, the bombs, and so on. So it seems to be that, again, the United States is playing to a public posture, indicating some type of pressure on Netanyahu, while giving him all what he needs to continue a genocidal war that has been unfolding in Gaza. So I would say that we're looking at this attempt, public posture, while the policy have not changed at all. And I think Netanyahu knows that we have a fractured political structure in the U.S., and it's not surprising that the Republicans have invited him. They gave him 81 times clapping in Congress, 53 times standing on ovation. You would think that he is the new president of the United States, and he's going to meet with Trump, and I think he will get almost unrestrained support from Trump going into the election season in the U.S. Netanyahu knows this, that he's playing in a fractured political landscape in the U.S., and no one from either party will stand in his way until after possibly the election to see what might transpire.
As you say, Hatem, all politics are local. Professor Hatem Bazian in London, good to get your thoughts. Thank you very much.